Give me.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for coming to the LASA operating meeting. I'm not presuming to facilitate this meeting, but since we're without a facilitator right now, just wanted to open it up. I'm Jessica Flintoft, the Scioto Township Clerk, and was hoping that we'd have a meeting today to do introductions, do some kind of core administration since we've had so many transitions, and then do our updates from our operator and engineer. So maybe we could just go around the table and introduce each of us and your role as related to LASA.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian Gable. I'm the newly elected Scioto Township Treasurer. I have been working with the township on various committees for the last several years. Look forward to working on this committee and see what we could do to make things a little bit easier for everybody.
I'm Mike D'Angelo. I'm the newly elected Webster Township Supervisor, and I did a stint as a library trustee, but most of my previous life was working at the Court of Appeals up in Lansing, so I'm just decided, because I kind of retired almost at the same time, it was time to like go, hey, what do you want to do? Oh, you have 2 days. You want to try to run for something? You know, like, so that's kind of how I got here. So.
I'm Ted Erickson. I'm with a company called IMEG. I've been helping LASA with engineering for 10, 12 years, something like that, so.
Brandon Damon with F&V Operations, your operation company. I've been operating plants for about 16 years now, when I think about it. Also, Michael Lesage has been texting me. He can't get on the Zoom.
Oh, can't, okay. Let me see there.
Then I'm Andy Kuhn, work for F&V, and I do the operations, the daily stuff at Loch Alpine. I'm usually there from 8 to noon, Monday through Friday.
I'm Barbara Collegia. I was previously on LASA because I was the clerk at Webster, but now I'm the deputy clerk here at Scioto Township. And I'm just sitting in to take minutes for you today.
I'm Mike Lewis. I'm a resident of Glen Devon, and previous to that, I was a resident of Loch Alpine. And so I'm a representative for our neighborhood and
Dave Fisher, Loch Alpine resident, I'm on the Ops Committee. I got a background in environmental engineering, but newly retired.
Great.
I was hoping.
Andrea so proud of us, but right. Oh, Tony, come on up. We'll do introductions. Come on, there's room, everybody, we did.
There's room.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
You got a chair?
All right.
Yeah, that's where
Thank
I'll fall
you,
over.
Dave. Everybody.
Leaning back on, whoa.
I'm sorry, you said you're on the Ops Committee and you're a Loch Alpine resident?
Andrea Dorney, I'm a Loch Alpine resident and I'm also the representative to the LAIA committee at Loch Alpine.
Jillian Carey, Scioto Township Supervisor.
Then Brandon and the two in the back. Brandon, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Brandon. I'm the utility director for Scioto Township.
Okay, thanks, you, sir.
Visitor.
Yeah, great. No names required, but welcome. Okay, hi, Robert.
We're going to shut
Got it.
Oh, Tony Brabant, clerk, Webster Township.
All right, great. Welcome. And then we have trouble. I was wondering, can the meeting ID for this, let me just text it to Michael Lesage from Woodhill. They are our business manager, accountant. So I just wanted to say welcome to everybody. We have a lot of new seats. LASA, as you know, is a joint authority of Scioto and Webster Townships, created in the, I think, mid-50s, 1957 or so. Historically, it was kind of a joint meeting of both township boards. Over time, it became some reps. And I will say, at least from my perspective from Scioto, we had kind of fallen back on our responsibilities. I think Webster had always, you know, had 3 elected members representing. We started having fewer and some community reps, Patrick McLaughlin, who did a fantastic job. But what we decided to do in Scioto Township at our last board meeting is the board appointed Ryan, the treasurer, me, the clerk, and Jillian, the supervisor, to serve on the LASA board. So we intend to have 3 elected officials from Scioto on the board, which I think is just winds up working a lot better. So, yeah. And so from Webster, your reps?
Well, it's Mike and I and Jeff Harms.
Great.
And Jeff was notified, so I'm not sure why it's not you.
Okay, that's
He didn't
okay.
talk to me, he was in a hurry yesterday
was in
running
a
around.
So yeah, so I was hoping just to do some real basic administrative housekeeping. So Scioto Township, we keep 2 listservs going. One is for the LASA board. So we'll get that up to date with these members. We keep the, you know, on our website, we have a little page on LASA where we keep that information. So we'll keep the listservs up to date. Happy to post meetings. Happy to host meetings, always happy to go to Webster as well, but you know, since we installed the remote meeting, people seem to
Yeah.
like here, it can save some costs for our consultants who can join by Zoom at times. And then I wanted to also go through potential meeting schedule. This is would kind of follow what we've done before, and I know that the board as a whole needs to have its first meeting to then dig into, you know, appointing a chair of the board. And also we need to quickly update our bylaws. I can give you a little update on that project, but first I thought it'd be helpful if we could all pass out and check for our operators and engineers this proposed meeting schedule. Do you have an outlook? Oh.
We need more. You want me to copy more?
That's right, I can snap a picture of it, it's not a problem.
You can share.
So typically, we've met 4 times a year as a board and then operating meeting in between. The 5 o'clock on Mondays people have seemed to like that the last few years, but we have different people and different schedules. So what are folks' thoughts about the timing of the proposed?
5 o'clock works for me.
Yeah, is that good?
What do you?
On Mondays.
I think I'm good.
Is that okay there? Okay. Great. And then for the operating committee meetings, the Fridays at 9. That's comfortable. Okay, great. So then, with that, what we'll do is we'll announce these meeting dates then, get them posted, and then we can start, collecting, items for our first board meeting on January 6th. One of the items is going to be the presentation of our audit. They've been hard at work. They're about done with our financial statements. We have, it's Pfeffer,
Oh, yeah.
and Hanford. Do I have that right?
Pfeiffer, Hannaford, Polka.
Yes,
I've used them in the past.
you did it. Pfeiffer, yeah,
Pfeiffer, Hannaford, Polka.
Hannaford Polka. They have been our auditor for a while. They do a great job, but they're gonna give the audit presentation at our first meeting in January.
What is the schedule for budgets and audits for LASA? It's not the same, obviously, it's not the same as.
So, LASA is on a July 1 to June 30 fiscal year. So that's why this audit had to be filed as, for any local unit, 6 months after the end of the fiscal year. So it was filed, in this case, as they let us know, I think we got an extension for this one, which was necessary this year. But they'll present to us and then file. And then the budget, again, you know, we have done a budget, I think we did in maybe March or so last time.
Hey, Jessica,
Yeah,
the July 7th meeting, I
Yeah.
think you need to have that meeting in June so you can pass that budget.
you know, that's a great point, Ted.
I think every year that I've been here, we've moved that meeting at some point, so.
Okay,
June,
so,
the end of June?
so what would be another Monday in June that would work for people? Thank you, Ted.
Yeah, 2, 9, 16, and 23.
Is one of those Juneteenth?
I'll roll with whatever you got.
Or say that again, it was
June 2nd, 9th, 16th, and 23rd, and 30th. You got 5 to choose from.
Well, it would have to be,
the ninth.
yeah,
Yeah, we do that.
we could do that before the operations. Or should we have the
Yeah,
law
also
support
meet on the
after
13th.
operations? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't, but then typically the operations kind of sets the table for the board meeting. That's how
Okay.
it's been done.
The 16th to the 23rd then? Either one is good.
And is neither of those a holiday is what I was asking. When is-
Neither is a holiday.
Okay.
It's not working for you?
I was checking to make sure that there was no holidays.
Any other committee meetings or board meetings that we have? Or Webster has?
Not that we're aware of it.
Okay.
Not-
So that's
not-
plug this in and then everybody else has to scramble around
Yeah.
us.
And
Okay.
Barb did make sure this works around this meeting room availability, so we'll set it for this meeting room.
There was one day where at the 5 o'clock, the last planning commission will come in, but I can't remember.
Okay,
So you're going to June,
Why don't we do the 16th and just in case there's issues, then we still, it gives us a little bit of couple of weeks before the budget is due. Would that be okay? Okay,
Thursday, June 19th.
Yeah. okay, gotcha.
so the 16th?
16.
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, and then we can get the budget done. And it was at that time last year, again, you know, I think, you know, we had to, you know, do the budget, you know, kind of a capital plan that Ted keeps up to date for us, the budget and raising rates at that time. So certainly if we want to give a little more space to that, because we don't want to be abruptly doing anything, but especially raising rates. Okay, good. So we have members, we have meetings. The next thing is bylaws, and this actually has been an issue for the last year. The tweaks to bylaws that we need to make. And so backing up a little bit, there was an instance where the former supervisor resigned of SIO, resigned from LASA, and it sort of opened up a conversation about, you know, because the bylaws state who the members are, you know, the supervisor, the clerk, et cetera. So opened up a conversation. Dave Navarre, former chair of LASA, former supervisor Kingsley, and I, and our then attorney, Jim Fink. So Jim Fink is the Scioto Township attorney, served as the LASA attorney as well. We all sat down and looked at it, came up with some proposed updates to the bylaws. They're minimal, but they really deal with just kind of modernizing some of the bylaws, but then also dealing with the membership to just make it clear that each board is expected to appoint 3 officials. And then also questions about the 7th member. The bylaws that we have in place state, you know, that the Board of Trustees of SIO and the Board of Trustees of Webster each appoint 3. And then the Loch Alpine Improvement Authority selects a member. So that doesn't really work for a government body, meaning a private organization can't appoint itself to a public governing body is sort of the issue. And so there was some reworked language to kind of make it that it would be, you know, recommended, and whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, however many we want, and however the associations select the person, they need to be kind of appointed by the LASA board. So it's a procedural thing, but something I want all of us to talk through, because I want everybody to be clear and make sure that we're being inclusive and all of that. So I don't see any real big changes to the membership, but it's how the members are appointed. So where we were at is we had a draft that we were all good with. But then a concern was raised by the former supervisor of SIO that Jim Fink shouldn't be serving as both the SIO Township attorney and the LASA attorney, which is fair. And so LASA, we went through a process and we hired Matt Jane as the LASA attorney. He's very reasonable, nice person. He's not yet done a dollar of work for us. But I let him know we were meeting and that we may be reaching out to him about this or other matters. But I would suggest that if we could, maybe a smaller group, and I'll send these out to the whole groups here. But I think we should probably schedule a meeting pretty quickly of the Webster Township Attorney, SIO Township Attorney, and LASA Attorney. One quick half-hour meeting to just kind of go over this document. Does that sound like a good next step? So we have bylaws.
We'll coordinate that, Jessica.
I can coordinate that if I can reach out to you, Tony. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll just have some attorney review of this before we get to our first board meeting in January. Great.
So when would you want us to return our comments regarding the draft?
I don't know. Let me see when the attorneys are available, because it may not be until after the,
Oh, you want them to look at it first before we go over it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, I'll share this out where it's at, for sure. It's not, it's kind of a legal document, so while we may have some suggestions, I think we're gonna want our attorney's opinion on it first. There's not a lot of latitude.
okay.
Okay, great. Bylaws, and then the only other kind of administrative thing that would be coming to LASA anytime soon is LASA, and I hope Michael, oh, he is here. Sorry, he's in the waiting room. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Michael. I'm sorry for that delay. That's Michael Lesich from the Woodhill Group. They do all of our cash receipting, and utility billing and, bookkeeping. They're our finance people. So thank you, Michael, for being here. So one thing that we noticed, it was back in June of 23, LASA decided to change from one longtime contractor who did our bookkeeping to the Woodhill Group. The Woodhill Group has done a fantastic job of modernizing a lot of stuff, giving us some great recommendations across the board, and we have a long list of modernizing yet to do, but we're getting there. The very first thing is the LASA financial files and utility billing had been capped on one little laptop forever. One laptop. All of this organization's information. And so we reached MOU, LASA and the SIO Township Board of Trustees entered into an MOU stating that SIO Township would begin hosting the data. And so that was a little delayed and complicated because SIO Township was just updating our server. We did. Our IT people have now configured the server to give kind of a separate protected space. Not to use the right words here, separate protected space for the data. And they should be loading that data onto our server within the next week or two. And then have the ability to provide the remote access to our contractor, Woodhill, and anybody else who needs it. So it will be secure, and then we can reassign that laptop to someone else. But that's the first thing. It's just sort of critical information.
Oh my God, everybody's bills is gone.
So yeah. So, yeah, so it's been a little bit of doing, and there will be a bill coming from SIO to LASA for that server space. But that is one step that we've been able to take. So in the meantime, we still have a enormously inefficient, cash receipting process. I want to thank Michael for bearing with it. All the bills come to LASA. But I'm hoping that at a future LASA board meeting, we'll be able to bring a proposal forward to kind of make that more efficient, probably in the next 3 to 6 months. So that's all I have. Is there any other kind of administrative housekeeping stuff before we get into the operations and finance updates?
The website, so once we'll be updating the website.
So the we is who.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have a lot of capacity issues. So I want to thank Michael, who has done a fantastic job of creating a website for updating the website, kind of getting it there, having a lot of good tools for people who are trying to pay their bills. So on the SIO side, what I can commit to is keeping the meetings and the roster, the basics up to date. Certainly LASA water.org is the website to send people to for more information about their water bills. Yeah, but right now with the bills, Jillian and I are co-signers on the accounts. We'll get you two updated on the bank accounts as well. And then, yeah, we'll get rolling. Okay, and then I'll turn over operations, engineering, and finance updates. Do you want to start with operations or Ted?
Sure, I have one item.
Great.
The water meters. Well, there's a story with the water meters, but we can save that for later, but there's a FCC lease for part of the water meters that is due to be renewed currently. The people running the water meter system hold the lease, but we have to provide them information. This was initiated 5 years ago. The supervisor at the time put my contact info down as the person kind of to receive this information, thinking that I might be the most likely person to be around in 5 years when that came up again. So there is a form to fill out, which I can do with myself as a contact info again. I think I need someone from the board to sign it. And there is an ownership disclosure where if anybody owns 10% or more directly or indirectly of any entity subject to FCC regulation, we need to disclose that. So I would anticipate no, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
Anybody on the LASA board?
Yes.
I do not.
So I'll fill this out and let them know that it's coming, and then if we can coordinate signage, and
Yeah.
obviously I'll share it with you all. I'm not trying to hide anything, but
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Ted.
that's my only update at this point in time.
And Ted, can you remind everybody where we're at with the lead and copper, with the reporting to Eagle about
So
the,
the lead and copper, like basically a system inventory list was due October 18th, 16th. That was submitted at that point in time, based on our review of the records. What we knew, we had gone through and replaced a bunch of water main in 2015, 16, something like that. So we know that there's copper in the ground. We did some potholing this summer where they basically dug down and looked at the material in the hole and verified that it was all copper. So we submitted a system inventory list with no unknowns, and by the due date, and we've heard nothing. So, which I'm not surprised that we haven't heard anything.
Dexter hasn't heard anything either.
Yeah.
No news is good news.
There's several hundred communities all submitting it and several people reviewing them, so.
But we did what was required, so we're
Yes,
good with it.
correct.
So, and lead and copper, thank you, Andrea. We got our final lead and copper sample for the year. So we should be good with all of that. For our year. The next thing that really comes up is in 2027, taking a lead sample from the water treatment plant point of entry. So we're pretty much, everything's dialed in with the lead and copper. We do have, I have a quote here from DeWolf, the contractor who does all the excavation work. We had a manhole on Whitman Circle that got hit and it apparently flew off so Andy ran up there, when somebody ran up there, put the manhole back on. Put some cones around it. Cone disappeared, got knocked off again. We put more cones on it, but the whole ring itself, along with the lid, needs to be replaced. And the quote we got from DeWolf is $2,473. If you guys would like us to move forward with that, we can get that done fairly quickly, because with that, right in front of that manhole, they're building a new house. Ted and I talked before, I think this is like the fourth new house in like
10 or 15
10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
So, and I think they've reached out to Michael as well. They've reached out to me several times. I told them they needed to pay the sewer and water tap fees before any of that happens. So, I know Michael, I think, was waiting for approval to send that invoice. And I believe the builder's already contracted Steve DeWolf to do the sewer and water taps once the tap fee's paid. So I think that's all dialed in once Michael can get the money for the tap fee.
Michael?
I think you're muted. Oh, hold
I
on.
am muted. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's good.
So yes, I was just waiting for today to say it's good to go. We have a tap fee and connection fee charges that haven't been increased in several years. It's $8,375 for both, and they're connection fees, not tap fees. So I can create an invoice for that, get that to the developer, and move forward.
Thank you,
Now
Michael.
Yep.
And I guess, some good news, you're getting a refund on part of your biosolids fee. You're lucky you don't have to pay more. This was kind of caused by the contractor that we use. He did some math, he had a math error. So you're actually getting some money back. I think they've been in touch with Michael as well to give you a refund, a partial refund on that. And that, thinking of biosolids, the contract, I think, comes up at the end of the year. I'll have to look and see when that contract, I think we did 3 years with the current hauler.
I'm not sure. Is that something that you're monitoring?
Yeah. Yeah, I usually collect the quotes for you and take care of it, but, I might recommend not using this contractor in the future, but there's actually kind of a new player in the state of Michigan. So we'll at least be able to get 2 quotes, I think, this year.
Great.
For this next time around.
That's been an issue.
Yeah, Biotech's got a monopoly. And this is the 3rd time in the last 2 years, but we have a leak on a water line at the wastewater plant. This is the 3rd leak on this same exact service line. It's a 1-inch, right, Andy?
Copper.
It's a 1-inch copper line. We're working with DeWolf to see if we can get a price so it goes out to Huron River Drive and there's no curb box. So they never put a curb box on it. So we're thinking we'll go up towards the fence at Huron River Drive, put a curb box, and maybe have DeWolf replace it completely with plastic, get a price. I mean, 3 times in 2 years, I think something's going on with the copper and needs to be replaced at this point. So we'll get you a quote, and that way you can move forward, maybe not have any more leaks with there. It's a little squishy there, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah.
And I guess the last little thing I've got is, we've got right on Green Nook Court, it's a sporadic leak out of a valve box. It was a valve we turned during a water main break or attempted to turn and it wouldn't turn. And so it leaks slowly and then we go by and it's not leaking. I think we're gonna come up with a plan to present to you to potentially replace that valve. Cause we'd have to shut off like the entire southern half of the subdivision
125
to replace this valve, like 100 and some,
Yeah, over 125 homes.
So,
Can you repair that valve? Are there replacement parts all around for it?
I don't know. I don't know if that valve was installed with the last water project. I think it was.
I don't know. I
Don't
guess I need to know where the valve is to.
Yeah, we'll,
Green Nook and
Green Nook and
West
Loch.
Loch Alpine.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why we're gonna try to get a plan to figure out what to do and the best route to take.
Well, I just, for curiosity, how long does it take to replace that? Is it like a day or a week or?
A day, yeah, it doesn't, it's not, but
It's
it's,
not like they're not gonna have water for. a week
yeah,
or-
the real problem is the boil water that we have to issue for so many residents. So if we can try to figure out how we can minimize that,
Right.
I'd rather have like one or two, is better than, you know, a hundred. You know, so there are ways that you can do it where you don't have to, even issue a boil. There's a company called Water Tap, there's a couple other ones, All City Services. They can do line stops on either end of the valve and then just take the valve out, put a new one in, or do repairs to it if they can, you know.
It's comparatively expensive though. So
Yes, it can be.
That's the downside of doing that.
It can be based on the size of the pipe, so that's why we're gonna try to come up with the best solution to the problem.
So are these authorizations that, the board can vote on in January, or do you want authorization for those ahead of time?
Like
The-
manhole cover probably now.
The manhole covering, yeah, if you can get that as soon as, you know,
Yeah.
today would be nice that way, cause I've got residents complaining and
Yeah.
several emails have went out.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so typically what we do is at our next board meeting, we need to select a chair of LASA, and it's the chairperson who's normally authorized, empowered to make those authorizations unilaterally. But since we have a majority of the LASA board here, maybe we could just take action on this one now. So I would like to make a motion to authorize up to $2,473 to replace the manhole on Newhouse?
Whitman Circle.
On Whitman Circle.
I second the motion.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Flintoff, support by Dorney. All LASA board members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Yeah, that's good.
It's 160, I think, or 162, it's one of those two.
Oh.
Or it might even be,
77.
it could be 77.
What do you think? Is this okay? Or what?
I would
Would you
prefer
prefer voice vote?
if we're expending their money, that we be.
A roll call? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
let's do that.
All right. So we have a motion by Flintoff, support by Dorney to expend up to $2,473 for a manhole replacement. And let's just go around.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Motion adopted unanimously. Great.
Just curious, Brendan, do you think it was the equipment going in and out of that lot that?
That was our suspicion
Knocked it
at
off of
first.
there?
That was our suspicion at first, but it's hard to prove.
Yeah, it's pretty old, and beat up. I think when the garbage guy goes by the big truck, it pops it off, you know, heavy.
Blame it on garbage guy. All right. Any other updates from F&B?
I can let Michael touch on he kind of headed the water meter replacement stuff. but
Yeah.
That's been going really
That's the
well.
big news. Michael?
Yes, thank you.
No, I'm gonna let him kind of.
Oh. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Looked like Ted was gonna say something important there. Yeah, the water meter replacement program is going very well. I got an email or a text from Jared, who's the technician out there. He's anticipating about 84 or 85 meters replaced. On Monday, it didn't look like we were gonna get there, but he's been a machine. He's added door hangers and gotten more scheduling done. Everything's working great. Perhaps at another time I can show you the dashboard and how we're able to see all the meters. This is going to eliminate estimated bills for about 80, 90 customers. When we're all done, we're going to have nearly 100% accurate billing for the first time in several years. And we're going to stop customers from being mad because they have to send us pictures of their water meter in order to get an accurate read. So I've gotten feedback from a couple of customers I've been talking to for a year. They are very happy, and I got a compliment from the technician. So the metering install company we used has been pretty good. Jared's been great, and the other stuff I'm learning their platform, but I'm thrilled. I did not think we'd get this far.
Are you handing out water scope IDs for residents who wanna look at their own usage?
I will be once we get it all done and I have all of them in, I'm going to send out an email to as many customers as I have email addresses for. And I have a intro to WaterScope. Here's what's
Great.
going to happen on your December bill. And
Cool.
so I'm kind of introducing them to WaterScope, which is an app they can put on their phone or access via their laptop that allows them to see instantly what their water usage is, whether they have a leak, what kind of usage they have. It is really a good tool for those who want to manage their bill. So that's what I have on that. Other things going on, working well with Brandon and Andy, and everything seems to be where I'd like it to be heading. So,
Good.
yep.
Yeah, I'm really glad about I got a call from a resident about the VPO. I think Jared had come to her door and, yeah, she had good feedback and even having to explain why we're replacing water meters again. Everybody's been very gracious and understanding. So I want to thank Woodhill, and FNB, everybody, because I mean, we had nearly 1/4 of our meters not reading. We were estimating, what, 20%, 25% of our
Yeah,
meters?
it's been about 20%, yes.
For years and years and years. So,
Yep. And one more thing, there was a customer that refused to allow us in the home. I won't say the name, but it turned out that the transmitter from the census meter that was attached to the outside of the house may have fallen off, and Andy took care of that, I think yesterday, the day before. It appears to be working again, and so we're going to hope that that resolves the problem. And so we didn't have to replace their meter inside,
okay, good.
and they were rather frustrated with us, let's just say.
Yeah.
So that has been resolved without any further problems. I've got a thank you from them too. So.
Great, great. And Michael, thank you for keeping all the cash receipting going as well. And thank you to Colleen for preparing for the audit. You guys have been awesome. And just as soon as we get the data moved over here to SIO, we'll make sure that you have the remote access. And then internally in SIO, my next kind of priority is to, explore what we might be able to do related to cash receiving that we could propose to the loss board.
That's great. And as far as finances go, I don't have a financial report today other than we did the billing. I collected as much cash. I'm sure there's checks there. Colleen will have an updated financials at the January meeting.
Awesome.
And I assume the audit will be done as well.
Correct.
I just handle checks, bills, and customer service, things like that. So that's where we stand. And if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Yeah, I do. Michael,
Yes.
you had mentioned earlier about we haven't raised our tap fees in a while, or it was just a fleeting comment that you made. And then, so is that something that the LASA board at that time would look at?
We should at some point.
Okay, and do you know the last time that the rates were? Whether,
We did the rates last year.
or not the rates, but the tap fees and,
The connection fees have not, we had to go back and try to find when the last time we did this. I think Brandon said there's been 4 or 5 homes built in the last 20 years.
Yeah, so rare.
okay,
So it's been a long time. We can look at it. I wouldn't, yes, we can look at it. What it is the value of the system divided by the number of people using it. And that's the basic math. $8,300 is in the ballpark of what other communities charge, but it may not be perfect for what you're doing.
Fairly reasonable.
okay,
Like there was a rate study done in 2018.
Right.
And that kind of captured the water main improvements I referenced earlier, and it was. So that tab fee was established at that point in time. It's
Is that when it
probably
was?
Capturing the right value of the system.
There are not many empty lots left in the area anyway, so I was just wondering, okay.
The timing of that was kind of when the golf course area was pending development, and they wanted to make sure at that time to make sure that the tap fees were appropriate based on the improvements and stuff like that. So that was the timing of it and the reason for that.
Thank you, Ted. I didn't know that piece of the history.
and thank you.
So that's all for me at the moment.
Okay, well, if there's no other updates,
I've kind
Oh,
of,
I'm sorry,
I have just one last thing. I kind of waited till the end, but Andy is actually kind of taking more of a leadership role over there. So he's the day-to-day guy, but he's gonna kind of be more of your point of contact
okay, wonderful.
going forward. You know, I'm always here to support and help him in any way. So don't think I'm going anywhere. It's just, he's kind of being moved up into, you know, a different role to kind of
Awesome.
help me out a little bit more.
Great,
So-
great. And Andy, do we have you on our LASA ops list?
Yes.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I just wanted to make
He's,
sure.
he's been doing it for what, like the last year
Yeah,
or
last
more,
year.
so.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we had you on our contact, because I know our email list, we just had so many changes. I wanted to make sure I had all the right people. So. Okay, great.
I do have something that, I don't know if this is the right time, but there was an email that came through. I saved it. I'm sorry I didn't bring it. From a water customer in Loch Alpine that said they have brown water. Does that ring a bell?
When
More
was that?
recently? Oh, it's
Recent?
Yeah, right when we flushed the system, our annual flushing, we flushed the fire hydrants. And I believe, yeah, somebody called in for brown water. And it's just because we stirred up the pipes from flushing.
okay.
Yeah.
We haven't
There were a
heard,
couple of complaints.
there were a couple, but I haven't heard anything since. I'm assuming that we would all receive the emails, and so that was resolved.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to check.
The complaints that we were getting while we were flushing, we actually went back and flushed more additionally in those areas to try to, you know, get the water to clear up a little quicker too, so.
Thank you.
The gentleman in the back had his hand up.
Brandon.
Oh, yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, from time to time, utility billing on our end gets phone calls about meter replacements or billing questions. I was wondering if we should be forwarding those to Michael or somebody on the board, just was curious.
Yeah, that LASA billing at lasa.org goes right to Michael.
Okay, so we just let them know.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and I
good.
think we have some information on our website, but we should double check it to make sure it's all tied together. But I think it says for LASA questions, go to LASA billing. And Michael, you have your number as well.
Yeah, and it's LASA billing at lasawater.org.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let Melissa know.
And there's
Yeah.
still
Thank
like
you.
a section, I believe, on Loch Alpine website that has some water protection. So now you got 3 sites.
Exactly. So we have 3 sites. We've got the Loch Alpine Improvement Association, we've got lasawater.org, and then of course, Scioto and Webster Townships. That would be something for Webster Township to make sure too. But the place that we should all be drawing our information from is lasawater.org. Because Michael does a fantastic job of keeping that up to date. And Ryan, that's who we refer to at the front desk too. Don't come in.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else?
It's just on the meters, general question. I think it's been discussed. Is there any strategy longer term for the balance of the meters? Now they're on two, or we just live with the blended system for a while and till meters fail and then we just replace them as.
I think the way we were gonna kind of do it is as, so we, F and V, we're not set, we weren't set up to do this bulk meter replacement. We've got a memorandum of understanding with you guys for like $110 per meter as they come. So what we'll probably need to start doing is hopefully we don't get any more cascading failures. If we get onesie twosie meters to replace, we can go out and replace those as need be.
Yeah, just.
That way.
Sounds like the customer experience on the new meters is quite a bit higher, so you
And-
might have people talking, oh.
Yeah, and that might be
Right.
another option that you guys could discuss too. I know it's a bigger chunk of change, but the customers liking it,
Yeah, would some customers pay for
you know.
a move, potentially?
Yeah, I don't know how your bylaw, I haven't read that rule in the rules and regs lately. But yeah, that might be something that you wanna look at is, I mean, I've played with water scope myself. It's an amazing tool. It's
Real quick, just to put things in context, blended system is fine. We can do 2 billing files, one for the census and one for the Metrons. As far as, so it's pretty much seamless. It is not a onerous task to do both of those. And your cost to upgrade the rest of the meters is probably $200,000 with installation. So I'd say take that step by step.
Yeah.
We think we have, the main problem that we've had with the failures of these have been the dual transmitters. And that's the people that have a sprinkler meter as well as a regular meter. And the good news, if there is, I guess, is that we've replaced all of those sprinkler. We are replacing all of the census meters that have dual transmitters. So hopefully this problem will calm down and we will have 1 and 2 at a time, not 100.
Anything else? Okay, all right, then we're gonna reconvene in January. But we've got some next steps. We'll get our lists up to date and I'm really looking forward to working with everybody. We'll select a chair of the LASA board, chair of the operating committee for 2025 when we convene that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take it easy. Bye.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, bye.